You are watching the Uptick Newswire Stock Day video show, hosted by Connie Colella. Subscribe to the Uptick Newswire YouTube channel to stay up to date on penny stock news and interviews, public information on OTC, pink sheets, and microcap stocks from around the world. And now, your host, Connie Colella.
Joining me in the Uptick Newswire studio in Phoenix is Brett Pojunis of Players Network, Inc. Brett, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me here. I really appreciate being here.
Absolutely. Players Network is traded on the OTCQB under the ticker symbol PNTV. Players Network is a diversified holding company operating in marijuana and media. Brett, that's a pretty interesting combination. Explain to our viewers exactly what you guys do.
Sure, absolutely. So we are a diversified holding corporation. We got into marijuana a little bit differently. We got into marijuana via media initially. If you look at our board of directors, you're going to see a wealth of experience in the media side. You have Michael Burke, who's the executive producer and creator of Baywatch. So we entered into the marijuana space with WeedTV.com and said, I think this is going to be a big market. My business partner, Mark Bradley, who's chairman and CEO, said, what do you think about this whole marijuana thing? And we decided to get into it. And about a year into being in the media side, the state of Nevada, they said that they were going to open up applications for cultivation, production, dispensaries, and testing. And so my partner Mark's like, do you think we should get involved? I'm like, well, I don't know how much political capital I have, but we can certainly try. And we applied for dispensary, cultivation, production. We got the latter too. So in Nevada, we have a 27,000 square foot facility in North Las Vegas. We have a cultivation. Cultivation allows us to grow, and production. Production allows us to take raw plant material and flower, extract that, and create oils and edibles and stuff of that nature. So now we've since expanded. Now we're in California. We acquired a 56,000 square foot cultivation facility in Salinas Valley in Monterey, California. And very soon we're going to be announcing a new market that we're entering into. So we're excited.
Okay, excellent. How much growth do you envision in the marijuana industry over the next 5 years?
Next 5 years, it's going to be huge. I think that we're just on the tip of the iceberg. October 17th is a big date. October 17th is when Canada goes full recreational. I think that once the country of Canada goes rec, and the country, the United States, sees all the tax revenues that are coming in, all the politicians are going to get so greedy, they're going to say, we have to do the same thing. And the good news for us and people who are positioned like Players Network, where we are privileged license holders, I think that it's going to go state by state. So if you think about like Prohibition, when Prohibition ended, it wasn't just like one straight blanket law for the entire country. What they did is they went state by state, and the states adopted their own laws. So I think we're going to be very, very well positioned for that, and I think the market's going to be massive. It's going to be huge. If you're looking at the numbers right now, and you compare it to industries, the beer industry, you would agree, is a huge industry, right? Mm-hmm. Marijuana sales are going to outperform the beer industry in California alone. So You start looking at things like that. How big can this be? As long as Jeff Sessions doesn't get involved, then we're going to be fine. So.
Where do you see the most potential for you guys?
So for us, we like the growth by acquisition. I'll tell you, as somebody who has been in the trenches, starting with the applications, and we just filed multiple applications. We announced that yesterday, 6 applications in the state of Nevada for dispensaries. Going through the whole motion and everything else, it's tough. We'd much rather come in with a checkbook and acquire companies who are already up and running, who've already been through the ringer. And so I think what our game plan is going to be, I know what our game plan is going to be. It's going to be growth by acquisition in new markets. And then in some markets where it makes sense, we're going to go through the full application process. But we really don't want to do that. We really don't. We want to just acquire someone who's up and running and let them make a premium and let them make some money on their efforts thus far.
How do you expect the cannabis market to change, and how will Players Network adapt?
So I think that the market's going to change because of how consumers consume marijuana. Traditionally, you see the movie, or you think of the movie Dazed and Confused, or any stoner-esque movie, it's always people smoking a joint or a bong. These kids are crazy. So now it looks like a crack pipe. I mean, now it looks like I don't know if you've seen a dabbing station with a product called rosin with a blowtorch, and they take it and inhale and they fall over. I think the consumers are going to change the market, but if you think about it, people who are doing it for medicinal purposes, or people who microdose, throughout the day, whether it's pain, anxiety, whatever the case may be, you're seeing them consume it differently. They're taking hits from cartridge pens, so pens that are THC or indica or sativa, depending on what their goal is. Edibles, of course, is growing more and more and more. We live in Las Vegas, so we see a little bit different trends because we see people that are coming here wanting to let their hair down and go crazy, and they got to be careful. But all the viewers, be careful with edibles, by the way. Don't take more than 20 milligrams at a time. Wait an hour, see what happens, readjust. But as the consumers start to determine which way they want to consume, that's going to dictate what's going to happen with us and what products we're going to offer.
Okay, and as far as revenues, you guys had a pretty big spike early in the year. Why is this a good time to invest in Players Network?
Okay, so as an officer director, our securities attorney would kill me if I said why it's a great time to invest. But I will tell you this. If you look at the company, we had a research report that was done middle of July. And they basically said if Players Network only does $1 million a month for the next 12 months, and we only get a 10x. If you look at some of these multiples of valuations, it's crazy. It could be 66. We've seen as high as 88 times gross revenue. But again, just going on $12 million and a 10x, that's a $120 million valuation. That puts us right now at 19.8 cents a share. We're trading at 6 and change. Every chairman, CEO, officer, director says we're undervalued. We get that, but we're truly undervalued. Look at the book value of the company, then look at our market cap, and you're going to see there's a huge deficit.
Where do you see the stock going?
High. I'd like to see the stock do well. I think if we could fall on, again, even at 10x, I'm not happy with that. I think we should be more because we're a much more aggressive company than most cannabis companies. So even at a 20x gives us only a $240 million market cap, and that would be about 40 cents a share. So I don't know. It's certainly not 6. I can tell you that. Oh, can I tell you one other thing? So Mark Bradley, who's my partner, chairman, CEO, and myself, we have not sold one share. Fact check that, we haven't sold one share, even when it hit 23 cents last July 2017.
Okay, you guys were late on your most recent Q. Tell us why.
Okay, so here's the deal. When you're late on a Q, it's usually due to poor management, incompetent management. There's only a couple instances ever that you're allowed to be late on a Q, and this is one of them. We did that acquisition, the 56,000 square foot cultivation facility. It's kicking off over $1 million a month in revenues, more than that. And we've had to go back and recreate all the books and records. There's so many pros and cons when it comes to cannabis. One con is that it's sloppy for the most part. And in an environment that's so highly regulated, especially being public on top of everything else, we have different standards that we have to operate at. So in order to become GAP compliant, we've had to introduce controls, processes, and redo the books and records and get everything up to speed. And you know that old saying, oh, the guy handed me a shoebox full of receipts? We would have done anything for that, just to put things mildly. So we're coming close to the end, and I think we're going to be on par. But the good news is we won't have this issue moving forward because we have all the controls in place now.
And you mentioned Canada earlier, and so some marijuana-infused drinks are being developed there with a couple of beverage giants, and Coca-Cola is in talks there, absolutely. So what does this mean for the future of Players Network and a possible international opportunity for you guys?
International, I'd love to talk about, but I can't. We're going the other direction than Canada, I'll say that much. But we have some really good opportunities, some overseas, some just south of us that we're exploring right now. And I'll tell you, by being an operator in Nevada, which is arguably the most highly regulated industry state, I should say, in the country, coming from that type of regulatory environment going anywhere else, other countries love the fact that we've been scrutinized so much because then when we enter their country or their state, province, whatever the case is, they know that we already have a higher level of compliance that they're not used to. So yeah, we're looking at opportunities internationally, and hopefully we'll be announcing some stuff soon.
Okay, now if you could just touch upon this real quick, where do you see the political landscape of the cannabis market headed?
So I hope to play a role in that. In Nevada, a lot of people know that, as chairman of the Libertarian Party of Nevada, during my tenure, we drafted the language which became question 2. We gathered all the signatures, 111,000 signatures. Once it was on the ballot, then we did all these events and email blasts and awareness campaigns. Weed TV did a lot of videos, and we got it passed. And so we're hoping to take that same structure that we did in Nevada and duplicate that in the 9 states. This being one of them, Arizona is a key target for us. And what we're going to do is we've identified 9 states. We're working with some of the national organizations, MPP, Marijuana Policy Project, NORML being 2 of them. And these 9 states, 7 of them have the ballot initiative, like Arizona, like Nevada. 2 of them, Texas and Louisiana, they do not do that, but we're still going there to bring awareness and let people know that we legalized marijuana and the sun came up and everything didn't burn down and everything's good. And oh, by the way, look at all the tax revenues that were generated. So we're interested to be involved in that moving forward.
So how can our viewers learn more about Players Network?
Well, go to playersnetwork.com. You'll see the form all over the website. If you fill that form out, you'll get a call within the next, by the next business day. You'll sign up for our newsletter. That we have a newsletter that comes out pre-market on Monday, unless we have press releases, in which case we put it a little bit later. But we're very transparent. I mean, sign up to our Facebook, facebook.com/playersnetwork, at Players Network at Twitter. We're putting out content constantly. Lots of cool stuff, and you've got to sign up to everything because we do different content for different platforms. So if you want to get everything, go sign up for everything, and yeah, you'll find a lot of information on it. I want to go out on a limb and say that we're probably the most transparent publicly traded marijuana company. But yeah, we would love for you guys to sign up and learn more about us.
Okay, great. Well, Brett, thank you so much for your time.
Well,
we
thanks
totally
for having
appreciate
me.
you coming into town and doing this interview with us.
Absolutely.
All right, well, if you're interested in joining me as a guest on our show, please contact us at upticknewswire.com. We'd love to promote your company.
This program is entirely sponsored and produced by Uptick Newswire LLC, which is responsible for the content. The opinions and information provided on this program are those of the guests and those of the respective companies they represent, and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff or management of Uptick Newswire. Uptick Newswire encourages all listeners of this program to do their due diligence and research when determining investment strategies that will work for them, or to seek the assistance of an investment professional. The guests of this program may have paid for its distribution and are not directly affiliated with Uptick Newswire or this station.